The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security and Horsets. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio, Sheriff Jim Allard. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Steuben County.
It
Frank.
always is. Boy, this weekend sounds like it could get a little hairy. Yeah, I know. But who knows? We never know. I'm not a meteorologist.
We might live in New York State or something.
I know. In January, I know, people forget that it's cold. So I saw some posts online. How was the New York State Sheriff's Association meeting?
It was a busy week.
Yep.
We covered a lot of ground. We had a lot of really good classes. And because I'm the chair of the Institute, I get to MC the award ceremony.
Oh, wow. How'd
So,
that go?
holy cow. What a phenomenal bunch of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say is, as I'm reading them and as we were reading the submissions prior to choosing the award receivers, I'm just amazed at the level of law enforcement in this state.
Mm-hmm. Was it difficult to choose? I mean,
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were, especially Deputy of the Year. Usually we do one Deputy of the Year. This year we did 3.
Oh, wow.
And we had some others that were definitely deserving, but not as deserving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it probably stings a little bit because you want to give them all awards
Yeah.
when it's that impressive.
Yeah,
Wow.
it really was.
So what kind of events happened? You said a lot of like classes and things like that
Yeah,
throughout the
we
whole week?
had a variety of classes. We had the Border Patrol was in, RCMP came in and talked about how they're working now with our folks. We had a class on the dark web.
Oh.
We had a class on AI.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, we had a wellness class. All things that are topical right now. One of the most interesting ones we had was an intelligence analyst from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office in Arizona.
Okay.
And he has been able to map how folks are smuggled in by the cartel, where they go, how they go. And I did not realize, even in upstate New York, there's money services that are sending $15 and $20 million a year back to the cartels.
Wow.
From folks that were delivered here to work and pay off their debt for their delivery. It was amazing.
I'm guessing, and you mentioned AI and dark web, there's got to be some eye-opening conferences or that you're attending.
Yeah.
How scary is it when you learn about the dark web and AI?
So
I know they're not the same. I don't want to compare the two, but the use of them.
I think AI is almost a bigger concern as to where it could go and what it could achieve if it's not harnessed correctly. The dark web, actually, the whole class was, everything you see is this kid with a
hoodie over.
And he's like, that's not it.
No.
And the guy that he does investigations on the dark web for the DEA is the guy that presented. Very, very knowledgeable fella. And he's like, it's just a version of the web.
Right.
It's all how you use it. Now, you can use it to order drugs and you can use it to get child porn and all of those bad things, but it's still just a vehicle to do that. What makes it different is the ability to trace. Everything has a
All
already.
right. Mark it 722.
That's gotta be
it
a new
actually
record.
It actually went right back to its perfect spot.
I was like, but what makes a difference is when you enter the web, you have a place here, then there's a middle place, and then there's a final place. So this guy only knows who's entering. This guy only knows what website you're accessing, and this guy in the middle knows nothing.
I gotcha.
So the anonymity of it is what makes it unique.
And how much do you think at the sheriff's office you're going to have to deal with scams from AI? Are you already dealing with them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I see so many people just anecdotally on Facebook getting duped by it that it's been used as crime since the day it was.
Especially with Facebook, how much of that you see?
Yeah.
Because you'll see, like, especially after a sporting event, you'll see a coach supposedly saying this.
The worst thing.
And then you'll see it for 3 other teams.
Yeah.
The exact
same thing. And then people buy into it. But then you watch Pagula's press conference, and so maybe, never mind.
Maybe he should have used AI.
Yeah, he should have used AI on that. But I heard you had a special guest at the Sheriff's Association.
Yeah, the governor came in and spoke for about 15 minutes and left very quickly. Didn't take any questions, but at least that's the first time she's come to the conference.
Oh, really?
She came.
Because it's an election year.
Well, there might be that too. She came a year ago for when we swore, or 2 years ago when we swore in the president, and jetted quickly. And this is the first time since Governor Cuomo that the governor actually came to the conference. So
What was her kind of talking points? Was it that everything is okay?
it was, I know how hard your job is, and
Oh, okay.
and a lot of it was because her husband was he was a United States attorney as a prosecutor. I actually worked with him.
Oh,
and when I was here at Corning, and just that it was, hey, we hear you. Call me if there's an issue, and
Yeah.
and of course we're all like, really?
Okay. You didn't give us your card. Where's your number? Yeah.
But
Okay.
I have to say one good thing
That's nice.
in the budget. We're doing the wellness center at the summer camp. In the budget, a group that we're working with, the Mental Health Association of New York State, put in for $1 million grant for programming.
Wonderful.
It's in the budget.
So hopefully, yeah,
programming should be starting there.
I would hope that I mean, that should be bipartisan, but you never know with Albany.
Right. But I believe it passed the initial.
Oh, good. That's wonderful.
The first hurdle's over.
So, well, there's at least one good thing in the
So I have to give props where props is due.
Yeah. Now, I know we've joked about this in the past, but when you see the state of the state by the governor, or you start to see your budget priorities, you must just be on your phone all day wondering what new restriction on law enforcement is coming our way.
Right.
What did you think of this state of the state and what we've heard so far about the budget?
So there's a lot of Senator Salazar has another whole batch of anti-law enforcement stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it got any traction in the budget. There's very little mention of it in the budget. The only real law enforcement stuff I saw in the budget was expanding sanctuary areas.
Yeah. But then Governor Hochul, because they wanted to, I can't remember what it was called, like New York for All or something, which was an extreme sanctuary. It doesn't seem like Governor Hochul's latched onto that. Last I saw, she hasn't made any statement on it.
No. And I spoke previously about the corrections omnibus bill at the end of last year and how they were going to expand. That's got some chapter amendments in it now in the budget. They were going to expand the Commission of Correction to 9 people. It's still 3 full-time, 2 part-time.
Okay.
But the 2 part-time have full authority.
Yeah, okay.
And one of those part-timers has to be a former prison inmate.
I remember you telling us that.
And
so that's still in there.
That's still in there. And the other one has to be either a doctor or an attorney that was engaged in protecting the rights of inmates.
Okay. Well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also I saw the governor saying, I read this on Empire Report earlier this week, that there's no appetite for reforms to raise the age. Right? Did you hear that?
She
right?
did say that. Yeah.
So, why? Even for a while there, even Democrats were talking about after July 4th, what happened in Albany with all those young people shooting out flares and causing a lot. There seemed to be an actual appetite for it, to keep using that term. Why? Her argument didn't seem like a very good argument to me. Just seems like she doesn't want the controversy or doesn't want to deal
Correct.
with it.
She just doesn't want to dredge it up again, and because that is something that's on her.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the stuff that's been passed, like the Clean Slate Act.
Yeah.
There's been very little done on that, and that's going to be really tough for places when you do a background check on somebody. If it's 3 years after they had their misdemeanor conviction of endangering the welfare of a child, it's not going to show.
Yeah. And think of the implication of what job they're applying for. These are things that, this is what scares us about Albany. It's just like we joke about on the program a lot. You remember last year where that Manhattan assembly person suggested that you couldn't have more than 750 cows on a cow? Remember that? Yeah. It just seems like they sit around in a room and try to think of the most outlandish, outrageous things. But with the one-party rule in Albany, those can actually come true now.
They do.
Yeah.
And they do. And that's, we have an attorney at the Sheriff's Association that tracks every bill that comes out. Sure. And then we obviously, as a group, send our opinion to the Hill.
Yeah.
We did a networking at the Fort Orange Club this year and invited several of the downstate legislators to come meet us and mix with us.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that Assemblyman Palmisano, Sempolinski, and Assemblywoman Bailey, and Senator O'Mara all attended.
Of course, I'm sure.
It was very good to see them there
Yeah.
and see their support. But there were some folks that came that I didn't expect to see. Salazar wasn't one of them.
No, he couldn't make it.
But, you know, that's something that we're engaged in now, trying to break down the barriers so at least we can have a discussion and be part of the conversation.
Well, and and by the way, we got a comment here that I wanted to mention. Good morning, gentlemen. It's always a beautiful day when Sheriff Allard is on Frankly Speaking. Mayor John Buckley. Thank you, Mayor, for
there
watching.
He is.
We appreciate that. Going back just quickly to the raise the age, and we talked with Sheriff Strom about this not that long ago, and I know we've talked about it numerous times. It's so many young lives are ruined because of this law. And so for the governor to say that no one really wants to look at it, think of for the next 4 years, if she wins re-election and nothing has changed, how many lives are just destroyed?
And it's insidious on the levels that it does that. I mean, obviously the criminal element is looking for 17-year-olds to commit crimes, but when they are caught, there are no local facilities to hold them.
Right.
So when you look at most of the folks that we have, especially 16-year-olds that are in a supervised detention, we're taking them to Nassau County or down to New York City or Westchester. Their family has no, if there was an attempt to reach out to them, they're completely isolated.
Yeah.
That's opposite of everything we know that works.
Yeah.
And then when they get adjudicated, they're held in these areas with people that are accused of very, very serious crimes. I know Sheriff Baxter in Monroe County, his is always full.
I'm sure.
His specialized secure detention, which are 17-year-old adolescent offenders, is the majority of them that are in there for murder. So if you get sent in there for something else, guess what?
Yeah.
You're in with some pretty bad people.
It's a shame, but again, even if she were to reform it, it's not. It's just like with bail reform or whatever.
It's going to be a token effort.
But I thought she would just for the re-election year to say that she's tough, because look how good Lee Zeldin did running on public safety. Right now, she doesn't really have that argument. She'll find a way to twist it. But we better take a short break. Let's keep those questions and comments coming in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. And we are back with Frankly Speaking. That's the Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, Sheriff Allard. We've got so many comments. We're going to talk, just so people know, we are going to talk about ICE. We are going. I'm sure you were waiting for that. But we talked about the mayor earlier. You're going to be on the Pulse.
Yes.
Mayor of Hornell, John Buckley, has a Pulse on WLEA. If you're in Hornell, it's on Saturdays and Sunday at 1 o'clock. I like doing that show.
He
Brian
does a
O'Neill
really good job with that.
Yeah.
Yep. And you get to hear Brian O'Neill laugh in the background.
Laugh in the background, and he's masterful at that. So we've got a lot to cover. I know people are asking why it's taking so long. Before we talk about ICE, new legislators are in. We haven't talked since the new year.
Yep.
What's it look like with the new legislature? What do you think the year ahead looks like?
Well, I think this is going to be a year of the legislature trying to rebuild their forward-facing their reputation.
Okay, I was wondering what word you're going to use.
You know, their appeal is still ongoing. It was scheduled for oral arguments March 3rd. They filed for an extension to try and push it out further.
How long
for
is
whatever
that delay?
reason. I don't know.
Really?
It either delays it to later in this appellate session or to the next one. I don't know.
How long are we going to continue to talk about this?
Well, you know, it's funny. I had a talk yesterday with one of the attorneys at the Sheriff's Association, and he goes, I just can't believe they're not trying to reconcile and put this behind them.
You would think.
And I said, well, all I'm told is that I need to quit saying bad things about them. So,
and yet that's why I invite you on this program. But seriously, it's unfortunate that here we are in 2026 still talking about it.
From something that happened in September of 23.
Yeah. Think of it.
It's almost 3 years.
That is. Now, but I do think we had Kelly Fitzpatrick on last week. I do think a lot of people want to look forward.
They
and
do.
Not look back.
They do.
Not all, but there are some. But I think a lot of that, going back to your point, if they would just let this play out and get it over with,
Or
not delay it again.
or conclude it.
Yeah, or well, more important, that would be the smart
Yeah.
decision. But it
Yeah.
seems like at this point, I guess they're
Yeah.
all in. But let's not delay it even further.
Yes.
Maybe they're hoping that it goes out of people's minds.
I think so. I think there's an attempt to get some distance from it. You know, kind of the serve pro,
Yeah.
get it cleaned up like
Yeah.
it never really happened.
Yeah.
But
I would say November. And yeah, if you look at November, I think a lot of people still remember.
yeah, and you know, obviously, I haven't been made whole yet,
No.
and this continues on, and it's silly. I looked on the county website last week, and I sent an email to the chair and to the county attorney, and said, "Hey, you're still listing that local law as being passed."
Yeah.
Which you had to stay on before you put it on,
Right.
and then it was struck down by a Supreme Court judge. So, what are we doing here? If you're moving on, let's clean things
Let's
up
move on.
and fix things, and then move on.
Right.
Because if we don't clean things up and fix things, we're not moving on. We're just continuing.
Right. Have you had an opportunity to meet with the new legislators?
Yeah. So I had Mr. Valino came in last week for a tour.
Yeah.
Or a week and a half ago for a tour, and Monday, the other 3 new ones plus 2 of the existing ones are coming in for a tour of
that's
the
great.
jail.
Great.
And you know, I welcome that because obviously I'm very much engaged in transparency. Please come in and see what we do, and it's important that they see what they're going to be voting on.
100%.
Because I think until you tour that jail, you have no idea how big it is and how much goes on in there.
Right.
And you know, I hate to belabor the point, but we have 32 town courts. We have 14 villages and 2 cities, and the county court building. Our correction officers are transporting a lot all over the county, and you know, there's a lot of moving parts in that jail.
Oh yeah, I know. I follow the app. I see the people. I see the people coming in and out. I'm refreshing hourly. That's right. But we have to talk about ICE, and I was mentioning this earlier. It's interesting to me because remember when it was defund the police, and Democrats ran on defund the police for a while, and that backfired
It did.
spectacularly. I feel like they're treading on that, maybe even going further with this whole attack, this anti-ICE now protesting in churches.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's going to be a backlash on that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know, Bob Lonsberry did a really good article, I think it was a week ago, comparing the George Floyd riots to what's going on now, and that was an attack on local law enforcement. This is an attack on federal law enforcement. And I see similarities, and actually there's a lot of the same players.
Yeah.
And you know, when we did the reform plan that Governor Cuomo ordered, if you recall, there was one specific person that was in front of City Hall every day with signs that once it was done, I haven't seen her. I never saw her before, and I haven't seen her since.
Right.
And you know, when you talk to folks in urban areas, it's the same type of mobilization and people that are protesting. You know, this is such a diverse topic. You know, I've got friends in the Sheriff's Association, sheriffs in other counties that are, you know, my very good friend, but we disagree completely on these issues. And I think we see that the difference is that he and I can talk about it,
Right. That's a big
and
difference.
we can disagree and still get along and still work together. And what I'm seeing nationally is this inability to disagree but still work together. And I signed the contracts with the federal government to be able to work with ICE, because I don't want an incident here in Steuben County where someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
It's my feeling, and I feel it's my responsibility, that when any federal law enforcement group comes into Steuben County, that we make sure that we protect them and our residents from hurting themselves.
Right.
I don't want somebody to get hurt because their ideologue tells them that they need to obstruct governmental administration
Right.
or resist, we had a I had a chat with the person that's the supervisor of ICE in this region. I talk to him every now and again, and he's telling me how they're, if they don't open the door, we're going to bust the window in the car. And I said, well, you're not going to do that here.
Yeah, right.
That's not how we work here. And we'll be there to help you to make sure you don't have to do that. And I see that as our role. Now, do I want to go out rounding people up because they look different? Obviously, no.
Right.
That's unconstitutional. But ICE is going to come whether we want them or not.
Right.
And
let's make it safe for everyone. Residents, for the person being detained, everything.
That's my goal, is to make sure that folks are safely handled and handled with dignity. But it is a crime to enter this country illegally without going through a port of entry. And if you're deported and you enter again, it's a felony.
Right.
So to cross without going through a port of entry is a misdemeanor. If you're deported and you do it again, that's a felony. Those are crimes, and that's the criminal aspect of what ICE does. The administrative aspect, which gets all the attention, is, say I come in and I get a work visa for 6 months, I stay for 6 years.
Right.
That's where the administrative detainments occur. But the folks that are being smuggled in or coming in over our borders without coming through a port of entry, those are criminals. They have committed a crime. That's the folks that ICE is picking up, and when they've been here, it's been to pick up somebody with a warrant for criminal action here in the United States.
Right.
And
that you wouldn't want in your community.
Right.
Yeah.
And to get them out. Now we had a pair of Chinese nationals that were scamming people.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
We turned over and they went. We had another fellow that was from the country of Georgia who was stealing cars.
Okay.
And he had been deported before and came back. We called and they came right down and got him, and away he went. That's the kind of things I'm interested in doing to keep Steuben County safe.
But imagine that there's people that are upset that you are working to take those people off the street. I mean, I saw some footage of, there's a protest every day on Market Street anymore. I saw it. Don't
there
quote
was some
me.
walkout or something the other day. Yeah.
The 20th there was one, but I can't remember which one it was. And I saw that there was a sign that said something like Sheriff Allard, stay away from. Or,
I'm not supposed to work with them.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably had cuss words in it too. But imagine you receiving a pushback for that.
It doesn't surprise me. If you recall, when I spoke out against marijuana, I received a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
When I spoke out against bail reform, I received a lot of pushback. So it doesn't surprise me. But again, I think here, anybody that wants to sit down and discuss it with me, I'm more than happy. And I'll explain exactly what we do and how we do it, and that it works. Well, I've been working with ICE successfully since the 1990s.
Yeah, it's just now it's the buzzword. Yes,
and we do a ton of work with the FBI. We do a ton of work with the DEA. They're all law enforcement partners. I liken it to if suddenly we didn't like the DEA.
Right.
And we started protesting the DEA. It'll never happen while Terry Cole's in charge.
That's right.
but suddenly then we don't have to listen to them or follow the rules that are established in our national laws. I don't
understand the reasoning.
Yeah.
And the problem is and I hate to put it this way, but there's been so many protests, and it goes back to even before the George Floyd protests, because it's happened on college campuses with anti-Semitism. There's not consequences for these protesters and these people disrupting law enforcement.
Well, I think
and then
now
when
there
is, and then now that there is, they're not expecting that, and it's unfortunate that these protesters were coddled for so long.
Yes.
I'm not saying
there was no consequence to criminal activity.
Yeah, right.
And now there is.
Right. And that's why I think there's a shock, because really I think many of these protests, and I see it even locally, it is all about you getting your selfie, protesting and showing you care the most, getting the most likes. And when it gets out of hands and becomes a mob or a riot, there are consequences.
Yes. And it's really dangerous. That I saw, it was one of our local high school teachers that posted, if only Luke Skywalker had complied with the stormtroopers.
That's what I mean.
And that's, to me, that's incredibly dangerous, because this isn't a movie.
It's not a game. It's
not TV, and it's not a TikTok video. It's life and death sometimes.
Exactly.
And it's very real consequences. So when I see those things, it really terrifies me as to the danger and the possibility of violence.
Well, and their simplicity in some of their arguments has real world consequences.
Yes.
When you throw something like that out, like you said, it's a movie. It's almost like a fantasy, sci-fi. It's not. It's
real life.
It's very serious. By the way, we mentioned you're going to be on the Pulse with Mayor Buckley on WLEA on Saturday and Sunday at 1 o'clock. You're also going to be making an appearance on February the 27th. I understand. Are we allowed to talk about that, or is that the big?
As far as I know,
we just did. That's a big one. Lincoln Day dinner.
Yes, I'll be on Lincoln Day dinner, and apparently I'm going to be the keynote speaker again, which is an incredible honor.
Absolutely.
So I look forward to that, and that is, as you know, it's the premier Republican gathering of the year.
It really is.
And I look forward to it, and it's a good re-energizer of the party locally, and kudos to the Hornell City Republican Committee for putting that on and hosting it and continuing to grow.
Seeing it grow every year. I think of how we've talked about it a million times before now, how one time a Democrat stronghold.
Yeah.
And look at the powerhouse it's become. Unfortunately, Corning's the other way around.
I know. Well,
but Hornell is.
There's always balance.
I know, but they've done such a great job with it. And really, if someone hasn't been, I should say, to the Hornell dinner and you're Republican, the Lincoln Day dinner, you're missing out.
Yeah, it is.
You get to see everybody.
Very good, energizing time, and the judge candidates from Rochester come down, and it's you get to see and hear a lot of your local representation speak.
And I will say, it's sadly, February 27th is basically the kickoff of petition season.
I know.
Isn't that sad? Okay, so if you're thinking of running for office.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little warmer then.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In the studio, the sheriff, a lot of S's there. Comment from a viewer. Good for you, Sheriff Allard. Stick to your guns. And good morning, by the way. Well, good morning.
Well, good morning.
Yeah, isn't that nice? And I want to thank, we have some people that send in like Climate Fact Friday, Bob, and things like that. We'll read those on Monday's show because we've got so much we got to pack in and we have no time left. All right. We talked about corrections officers. We talked about the prison. How's things going? I know numbers have kind of fluctuated every time we talk, especially after the non-strike or whatever Hochul calls it.
Right, yeah. So it was funny. I brought this up yesterday when the Division of Criminal Justice Services was in. The folks that went on strike from DOCS, from the state prison system, if they went back to work, so they decertified them, said, you'll never work in New York State again. And then they said, but if you come back to work for us again, we'll say no harm, no foul, and give you your certification back.
Yeah.
But if you go to work for a county, you got to go back through a basic course.
Yeah.
So I brought that up yesterday and said, how is that in any way equitable?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we're still discussing that.
Okay.
I said, okay.
All right, there you go.
But they're doing well. We're still short people, so if you're interested in a career in corrections, big news. Our corrections unit was one of 3 in the state that still had 30-year retirement.
Oh, wow.
They successfully negotiated, and again, kudos to the legislature for agreeing.
I heard about that.
They successfully negotiated a 25-year retirement so that they're the same as the rest of the state now, and they did get a pretty nice pay raise with that. So I feel like we're going to be able to hopefully recruit a little better and replace some of those folks and try to get back up. We're still at least a dozen correction officers down, full-time correction officers down.
Wow.
So if you've considered a career in corrections, come on up. We'll feed you breakfast.
There you go. Speaking of breakfast, hey, what a segue. You make my job so easy. You had an appreciation breakfast?
We did.
How'd it go?
It went really well. Captain Mills and I throw on the aprons, and Jeff Horton, the legislator from Campbell, always laughs because he comes up and Captain Mills' apron is spotless. Mine's covered with flour.
You look like you're in a sitcom. Your face is all covered. Like I Love Lucy or something. I don't know.
And he's like, why is his clean and yours is filthy? And I said, because my belly sticks out farther.
And that's what it
is.
But those are so nice, right?
Yeah, we feed. Typically, we're feeding about 80 people when we do those. So.
Wow.
It was very nice.
What's on the menu next time? Well, how long do you guys wait to?
Usually it's every 3 months we do one. So the next one will probably be a pizza one again.
Yeah, you guys. I think you guys like making the pizza one.
We do. We enjoy it.
And before it's hard to believe the show's almost over. Actually, I got to take another break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I always do this whenever you're on the program. We'll be right back. with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. The sheriff, we're getting ready to wrap up. Great question by Ken. He says, there's something I've always been curious about. In sanctuary cities, when the police release illegal immigrants that have committed a crime after ICE has sent a detainer, telling them to hold that individual until they arrive, why isn't that considered aiding and abetting a criminal, and why aren't federal charges filed against the chief of that police station?
That's an interesting question. If you recall, it was about this time last year when Tompkins County released someone, didn't hold them long enough for ICE to get there and grab them. There were talks.
Oh, okay.
And there was allegedly going to be a federal investigation into the Tompkins County Sheriff's Office for doing that. That's the difficult part of being a law enforcement executive in this day and age, when you have states passing laws that say you cannot fulfill your duties with the federal law.
Yeah.
And, we see that, especially in this state, where we can't share, for example, we can't share DMV information with our federal partners, or we lose our ability to run them and can be charged with a felony.
Right.
It makes absolutely no sense, but that's when the politics come into enforcement and keep us from just being a law and order society to becoming a politically motivated society. So there has been talks, and then you've heard talks about the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota of the possibility of federal charges there, which obviously is going to create issues.
It. Yeah, we'll be covering it here. Don't worry.
So
there'll be a lot of news coverage of that. All right, comment from a viewer. Morning, Frank. Good morning. Always a good show with Sheriff Allard. Isn't that nice? All right, just before we go, we're out of time, but I understand, kind of as a public service announcement, there's been another big scam going around. Phone delivery scam.
Yeah, so folks that get SNAP benefits are receiving phones. They think it's from the government.
Yeah.
It's not, because when they open it up and put in all your mother's maiden name and your first dog's name and all of those things, then it locks up, is unusable, but all of that information is extracted, including your bank account and your EBT card and all of that.
That's interesting, because you said SNAP, and then the last scam was for people that had there was some convicted sex offenders.
Yes.
It's interesting. The avenues are going down. But that does it for today. One last comment. We'll end on this. Thank you so much, Sheriff Allard, for coming on. Always a great show. One of these days it's not going to be great. One of these days we'll do a bad show. Hasn't happened yet.
Why would you jinx us like that?
I know. Hey, thanks for being on the show. Join us next week. Maybe on Monday, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah. Hey, stay warm. And make sure you plan for the weather.
Yes, that's right. All right, join us Monday or Tuesday on Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox.